Hello, everybody. Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And today I'm going to be covering a subject that I've got a lot of requests for. And I believe I've done a couple videos in regards to this subject in the past, but I've been doing this for 10 years now. And those might be long gone. Plus, times change, and so do a lot of the different articles and studies I'm referring to. All right, so my main goal is to keep people from ventilating their thinking meat to the atmosphere in a negative way. That meaning it's not done by a surgeon, but it's done by you. Chances are you're not a brain surgeon, and even if you were, it's ill-advised for you to cut on your own thinking meat. It's usually fatal. All right, now, one of the main reasons mainly men commit suicide is what they go through during and after a divorce. It's absolutely brutal. There is no fucking mercy, and nobody gives a shit about the men out there except, well, I shouldn't say except me. There are a few out there, but you got to look for them. They're in the red pill, MGTOW community, men's rights. And a lot of these guys are getting caught completely by surprise.
Are you the kind of person who's run out of feelings to hurt?
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah.
Then we have the Redonkulas swag for you. And we have multiple locations where you can get it. Go to the Stream Elements store or Crypto Fashion and embrace your inner fat punisher. Because after all,
There's a little bad pop in all of us. Even your mother.
shirts, stickers, mugs, and hats are on sale now. Your support helps keep us independent from big tech and keeps this life-saving train on the tracks. Links are in the Meat Gazer box.
Now, for those of you that don't know, divorce is filed by the woman 80% of the time, and some of the main reasons for that is happiness and finances. All right, now, I'm a combat veteran. I've seen 3 wars come and go. I was a sniper, rifleman, scout. Worked in special ops for a while. It was my job to close with and destroy enemy personnel, i.e., I hunted them for real. It wasn't to arrest them or take them into custody. It was to destroy them. And one of the ways I was able to do that was stealth. Now, I don't care how good you are at stealth. Something is going to change in the environment when you get on the scene. And the personnel that are your target, if they are aware, they will see those changes and take appropriate actions that make my job incredibly difficult. So the same behavior is going on in the civilian world, except it's different type of violence. And, most of the time during divorce, people aren't killed. I mean, they're emotionally killed. Their soul is destroyed. And it's just an evil, fucked up process. All right, so I put together a list behind me of certain things that happen prior to you getting bushwhacked and caught by surprise that your marriage is over. All right, now, I wish I had this information when I was married. Maybe I could have taken some steps to prevent it from happening. But unfortunately, I was compromised for a good 3.5, 4 years between 2004 and 2009. And it was mainly because of a TBI. I just could not see the warning signs, but they were there when I look back. Now, the first one on this list is straight up when they say I'm not happy. All right. Now, If you're in a relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it, and the other person says the words, I am not happy, more than likely it is too late. All right? It is too late for you to juggle cats and chainsaws, change anything about your life to try to win this person back. In today's day and age, divorce is just too easy, and women, quite frankly, are rewarded for doing it. So that is number one on this list. If the other person says, I'm not happy, for the most part, it's done. There's a small percentage chance that you might be able to pull it off. But for the most part, in my experience, and from all of the men I've talked to, it's a done deal. All right. So if you hear those words, gentlemen, you know it's over. Be adults about it and get the hell out of there with the minimum amount of damage as possible. All right. Number 2, negative interactions. Now, most of the time as women withdraw from you, the negativity starts at arm's length, meaning they're bad-mouthing you to their friends first. So if you have joint friends and one of them is telling you, hey, your significant other was saying this about you, I don't know what's going on, but it's the same as I'm not happy. It just hasn't gotten to that level yet. So it starts at arm's length and it starts to work its way in. It's your, her friends, then you might be some of your friends, and then some of your family, and then you start hearing about it, directly from your partner. All right. Now, if you have good friends, they will warn you ahead of time what they just heard. And if you have trustworthy family, they'll do the same thing. But for whatever reason, in a large majority of the time, the family just doesn't warn the man at all. And he winds up getting bushwhacked. And later on, quite possibly, he might whack himself over the deal. All right. Now, another thing about the negativity, when it starts getting, personal, they criticize you. They treat you with contempt and disdain. Contempt and disdain is literally two dial pegs away from hate. Right? So literally you turn the dial all the way to hate, you come back 2 clicks to 8. That is disdain and contempt. By the time you get there, it's pretty much the same as number 1. It's a done deal. You just don't, you just haven't really woken up to the fact yet. Number 3, avoidance. Okay. Again, this starts off at arm's length. Say you used to go out with your significant other once or twice a week, and that gets cut down to once a week. Then it goes to once every 2 weeks, once a month, and then pretty much anniversaries and holidays. It's the same with sex, because sex falls in here too, the avoidance. Listen, if you're married or in a relationship and you enjoyed bedroom fun on a regular basis and all of a sudden it dries up, if you are not paying attention to that, you are an ID10T and you need to wake the hell up. All right? So when fate finally dick slaps you and you get hit with divorce papers, you don't sit there and go, I didn't even see it coming. I am fucking telling you what's going to happen ahead of time. Pay attention, gentlemen. All right, number 4. Because of the negativity, you'll receive warnings from friends and family. If you have really close friends who are sharp, they'll be able to determine if craziness is afoot and warn you ahead of time. A lot of women, especially the controlling narcissist, borderline bitches out there, like to isolate their men from their friends and family for this exact reason. They are loathsome, selfish human beings, and they know it. And they latch onto you, and they want to basically keep you around for resources, safety, protection, whatever. And your friends and family will warn you that this person is an evil, conniving bitch. And they can't have that. I called it testiculus redonkulitis. I did a whole video on it. Go check it out in the archive. All right. 5, gut feeling. There were a couple times in my career where I just got that gut feeling that bad shit was afoot. And I listened to that gut feeling, and I'm still here today because of it. In fact, there's probably a good 10 soldiers out there who are still alive because of my gut feelings. All right. Now, if you're in a relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it, and your gut is telling you something is wrong, pay attention. All right? Gut feelings exist for a reason. Millions of years ago, while we were evolving, that gut feeling probably kept an individual from getting eaten by a tiger, lion, what have you, simply because he if I go that way, it doesn't feel right. I'm going to go this way. That's how it works. All right, trust your gut, gentlemen. 6, your relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it, turns into a roommate situation. All right, that is more of a situationship, and I would highly advise you, if you find yourself in this particular predicament, get the hell out. If you're married in a relationship and they move into their own room, it's done. It's just the individual wasn't adult enough to look you in the face and say, I'm not happy, this isn't working. All right. Man up. When they move into another room, you move into another fucking house or apartment. Get the hell out of there. All right. Number 7. Every interaction with this individual feels like a chore. Or every time you're around them, you feel like you're walking on eggshells or broken glass, depending upon how psycho they actually are. All right. For instance, you don't want to go home because you know the minute you walk through the door, you're going to get hit with a bazillion questions. You know they're not going to like the answers. You're going to be berated or criticized, talked down to, you name it. Okay. That's not a good place to be, and you should not be living your life walking on eggshells. Now, divorce is 50-50 for the most part if you look at the stats, and it just goes up from there. So even if you are one of those fortunate few that does stay married, about 20% of them will tell you, oh, it was the greatest thing I ever did. The rest of them will tell you don't get married because they're living their life walking on eggshells, being showered with contempt. You know, you don't need that. All right? Number 8, changed mindset. Now, this happens a lot when one person in the relationship decides they're going to go back to college, and while they're indocked or exposed to the craziness that goes on in today's world. And you start seeing changes in regards to their mindset at home. And some of those are like, oh, you know, sex, it's nothing personal. It's just an act. All right. That means they're detaching from you and they're shopping for another diaka. Okay. I should probably do a whole show where I break down the phrases of what women say and what they truly mean. I know I've done like 2 or 3 in the past, but if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. I'll put them on the list and see what we can do. All right. Number 9, change in behavior. Now, if you've been married long enough and you're getting into your, mid to late 40s, early 50s, there might be a thing that sneaks in called the midlife crisis. And ideally what this is as you're looking at your life, where you are in your life at this time, and you compare it to where you think you should have been. And it's the difference between those two that drives these people into a midlife crisis. All right. You're not going to have a perfect life. You can have a good life, but there will always be problems. Things are going to creep up. That's just the way life and Murphy work. All right. So you get a guy starts buying, he bought a latest Corvette, or he decides to buy a vacation home, or want to learn how to fly a plane. Probably midlife crisis. A lot of men who go through midlife crises do that. Some of them get the young girl and start going out with women who are 20, 25 years younger than them because they can. But that is not advisable unless you're in a horrific place and you just need to get out of that relationship/marriage. Got it. Women do the same thing. In fact, in today's day and age, women cheat more than men. So if you've been married for a good 15, 20, 25 years, you're both, in your 40s, there's probably a very high chance that your significant other has basically had their oil checked in a variety of different orifices, and you just don't know about it yet. All right. Number 10. They reveal their true self. Now, typically this happens after about 2 years in the relationship/marriage. Most people can hide their bad habits, mindsets, what have you, for 2 years or less. But usually after 2 years, things start to slip. All right? And a lot of times, a guy will find out that his significant other was just a raging cock-whore, and she hid it from him, lied to him, what have you. And the same thing goes for dudes. A lot of dudes play the game of being nicey nice, and they open the doors, and they do everything they want until roughly around 2 years has passed, and they just don't want to be there anymore, and they start shopping for some new beef and cheddar. All right. 11, and this is a big one. The communication stops. All right. That is also a key indicator that they've already checked out. They're done. They are looking for your replacement. They are putting things in place to get away from you. And you need to be aware of this so you can see it coming. Because the worst thing out there is to get, you're at work and they drop off, papers for you for a divorce. Or you go home and your kids are gone, or there's a protection order where you can't even use your own house. That's terrible. And it happens all the time. All right. 12. Change in finances. If your significant other gets a pay raise, or they move to a new industry where they make just as much money as you or more, for the most part, it's a done deal. Okay? I'm just telling you right now, that's basic women instinct is to always look for the power cock, meaning better looking than you, or he has more money than you, or resources, what have you. All right? That's just the way it is. And can't tell you how many guys I've talked to in the past 10 years who got laid off, were fired, got injured. Then shortly after, they were hammered with a divorce, ripped apart in court, and many of these men never, ever recovered from it. All right? Mainly because they were caught by surprise. Don't be the person caught by surprise, gentlemen. You want to know what's going on. Another good way to recon what's going on is have visibility on the finances. Lots of guys out there work, put the money in account. The significant other has access. They just keep working. And then one day the bills pile up to the point the water gets shut off, the electricity gets shut off. They find out that the wife's significant other ran off with, 4, 5, 6 months of income and left you holding the bag. It happens all the time. Now, if you had visibility on this from the beginning, that's a key warning indicator. Shit's about to go off the rail in your life, and you can take appropriate steps to minimize that from happening to you. Anyway, that's my take. I hope this is helpful to you guys out there. Don't be caught by surprise. It's not good. And most of the time, during an ambush, if you can't get off the X, you're going to die. Fight your way to cover and then fight your way out of this, because it realistically can be your very own life here. Handle it accordingly. Take it easy, gentlemen.